I don't really know how this is gonna go, but I've decided to do some life sharing, which means I'm aiming to record something of what my life has been, some of the things I've done over my life. I need to do this, I think, to help rebuild my memory of my life. I've had a brain injury, and it meant my memory has been largely wiped from my mind. And I don't know what to do, basically. I don't know how to rebuild. So I'm starting to record now what I remember of my life and see if that can help me rebuild my identity, because I am rather lost in the world at the moment. So what I'm going to start to do is to record my educational history as much as I can and see if that leads anywhere. So my knowledge of myself is very limited, but I do know some things. I know, for example, I went to St. Aidan's Primary School, and that's in Stroud Green, N4, North London. And I'm thinking school starts from when you're 5 and then goes to 11, in which case that would be from 1978 until 1989. So I remember a couple of teachers from that time. I remember Mr. Bourne and Mr. Fitzgerald. And I think Mr. Perkins, he might have been the head teacher. So those are names I remember from my teachers at primary school. There might have been a Mrs. Barrett as well. I'd have to concentrate more, see if I can remember more later. So I went to St. Aidan's School, and so that would have been from age 5 to age 11, so that's 1978 until 1989. Then I went to Highgate Wood Secondary School to do my GCSEs there. So that would have been from 89, I think, to 96. I think that's right. I can't remember teachers from that time for some reason. I think I remember actually Mrs. Simpson. I'd have to concentrate hard to see if any more would arise. So that would mean, so primary school was from 78 to 89. Secondary school was from 89 to 96, I think. Right, after secondary school, which was like at Highwood, I went to Fortismere to do my A-levels. And for GCSE, I got 1A, 3 Bs, 4 Cs, a D and an E. So I think that was 10 GCSEs. Then I did A-levels in English, Maths and Physics. There might have been a fourth half A-level or something, I can't remember. But I did English, Maths and Physics for A-level. And I don't remember the grades now, but they weren't very good. I think I might have got C, D, E, something like that. Yeah, I think that's probably right. So, yeah, after that, I did, I think I did something else before university. I think there was some other course I did, but I really can't remember the details now. So we're talking many years ago now. I'm 47, so we're talking I think the 1990 period. So yeah. So then I went to the University of Westminster and did a degree in cognitive science. And that's the study of intelligence in human beings. So it's like a mixture of psychology and computer science. And I got a 2-2 for the cognitive science degree, which was 3 years. But I think I did 1 year studying something else, some kind of general studies type thing. So that would mean I would have graded, so 73, 5 years, 17. So I'm guessing it would have been about 94, 95, or maybe 96 that I graduated from the University of Westminster. I don't believe I did any postgraduate studies. I think I went straight into the workforce. So I worked for several companies. One of them was FI Group, Flexible Information Group, which was like an IT support company providing IT services to companies. I also worked for a company called New Leaf Limited. It's like turning over a new leaf. And that was a small computing consultancy. And I can't remember where it was based. It might have been Southwark or Docklands. It might have been there. I really can't remember details now. But I don't know if anything will come out there. But that was a computing consultancy where we would go into companies and sort out their IT basically. So I learned Visual Basic there, and I became quite proficient at that. So I learned a lot of programming and general computing skills. So I was there for some years, but I don't remember details. But I do remember a staff member, Iqbal Vora, as IQBAL, Iqbal Vora. I remember an Ian Messenger, David Patkin, Jason D'Souza, Catherine Titterton, Esther McVeigh. I can't remember anyone anymore for now. I'm surprised I can't remember these people. Yet I can't remember where I was living when I got injured. But it's now the 2nd of April 2021, and I believe I was injured in 2015. So 6 years ago, I was injured, a brain injury, and it's caused me to lose my memory. I also had partial disablement, and so life is a real mess for me now, with no memory. Yet I can remember strange things like teachers from primary school. Yet I can't remember where I was living when I got injured in 1994, or in 2015 rather. I'm very confused. So that was my education. I also did a year somewhere else. I think I did a year at the University of North London before going to the University of Westminster. And then I didn't like North London, and that's why I moved. I think I was doing a straight computer science degree at North London Uni. So I got I think I said A-level grades are pretty rubbish, probably CDE or something like that. And my degree was average. I got a 2-2 in cognitive science. Then after the degree, I don't believe I did any further postgraduate work. I think I went into the workforce. So I can't remember what I've said already, but I worked for FI Group, Flexible Information Group, and that was a PLC. I worked for New Leaf Limited, which was a small computing consultancy in Docklands, I think. I'm sure I worked for another company. I know that I don't know if there was another company, but I set up my own businesses. One was called Saro Systems, and there was a partnership with Oleg Smirnov, and I was a computing consultancy. I did that for some time, maybe a few years, maybe 3 years or so. Then I got greedy and I wanted to earn more money, so I formed I did my own company, a one-person company called Arla Computing, and so I was doing small projects, companies. I really wish I could remember details, but the information has gone now from my head. So I did that for some time. I can't remember dates and anything, but 2012 seems to be familiar as a date I'm familiar with. I don't know what I was doing then. So that's my educational history and some of my work history. I don't believe I work for any other companies. There's FI Group and New Leaf. I'm wondering if anything else rings a bell, but I really don't think so. If something else occurs, then I'll come back and I'll say it. So that was my work career. I was married to a woman called Elizabeth Moss, and I know I had 2 children with her, James and Sophie, but I don't know any details still. I don't know when I got married, when I had the children, I don't know when they were born, so I don't know how old they are. I'm guessing though that I would have been 25 or so when I got married, so that would have been 1998. Which would mean the children might be 12 years old or so. And it's amazing that I have 2 children who are around 12 years old. It's just stunning, and I don't know when I'll meet them and how that will go. I don't know how I can be a useful father to them at all with no memory, and that's deeply upsetting. I don't miss my children because I don't know them. All I have is their names. So I don't have a sense of loss, and I suppose I should be grateful for that. I think I have one picture of them somewhere from when they were small. So it's an old picture. I'm very disorganized, so I don't know where the picture is and what's going on. Life is extraordinarily strange right now. So I've done educational history and some work history. I've got done the GCSE grades, which was an A, 3Bs, 4Cs, D and an E. A-level grades I don't remember, but it's probably CDE or something like that. English, Maths and Physics. Got a degree from the University of Westminster Cognitive Science. I worked for FI Group and New Leaf Limited. Then I did private businesses. One was a partnership, Saro Systems, with Oleg Tumanov. And then I did my own business, Arla Computing, which was my initials forming the name Arla Computing. And I was married, I had 2 children, and I don't remember them at all. I do remember what my ex-wife looked like. I don't know how we became divorced. I know I was living in Sycamore Close, East Barnet, London, I even remember the postcode. So I lived at 5 Sycamore Close, East Barnet, EN4 8AQ. I also grew up in in near Finsbury Park, Stroke Green area, Granville Road, N4 1JS. That was in Otway Court, number 6 Otway Court, Granville Road. So I was in East Barnet. I'm trying to work out if I lived anywhere else. I think I went from Otway Court to East Barnet, Sycamore Close. Now I don't remember living anywhere else, but I believe I was divorced from my wife, and so I imagine I would have moved somewhere, but I have no memory of that at all. So I covered education, school. I went to St Aidan's Primary School, Highgate Wood Secondary School, then Fortismere Sixth Form. Fortismere is Muswell Hill in North London. Then I went to the University of North London for 1 year, then the University of Westminster for 3 years. I've got a 2-2 in cognitive science. I work for Newly Limited FI Group PLC, and I did private companies, Saro Systems, which was a partnership, and the Alder Computing, which was a sole trader. So that's probably some information about my past. I don't have anything further from that.